Am I overreacting? I feel like a dad of the daycare I work at is hitting on me 20F. Hi, I work at a daycare, and I've noticed that one of the children's parents always makes inappropriate comments to me. At first, I thought he was just one of those people who always compliment others, or that he just wanted to have a friendly relationship with his kids' educators. But now I think it's more than that. During my first weeks there, I was always assigned to his younger daughter's group, the babies, so I would see him often. At first, it was brief friendly talk, but it really escalated when I started working with the older kids' 4-year-olds. His other daughter, let's call her Emmy, and I clicked right away when we found out we're birthday twins. She always wants me to play with her and asks for hugs literally every 2 minutes. Whenever her dad comes to pick up his kids, she always makes sure to give me a big hug and tells her dad that we're best friends. Last month, Emmy's dad and I ran into each other at the grocery store and started small talk. We were mostly talking about Emmy, and he just kept saying how much she loves me and that she wants me to come over to their house. I said something like, "Oh, she's so cute. I love spending time with her too," and tried to end the conversation, but he just kept talking. I noticed him looking at my chest a couple of times, which was one of the reasons I wanted to leave. He then offered me a ride, and although I initially declined, he kept pushing it, so I accepted. I didn't let him see my house. I told him to drop me off downtown. Since then, I keep running into him, but to the point where I don't think it's a coincidence. He doesn't live in the same neighborhood as me. I live near downtown. In fact, when he dropped me off the first time, he kept going on and on about how he could never live somewhere as far away as I do. So why do I keep seeing him? In our conversations, he always makes sure to compliment my physical appearance or mention my age and how young and smart I am. It obviously makes me uncomfortable, but for the sake of his daughters, especially Emmy, I don't really say anything. I have tried to set some boundaries, but it's really uncomfortable. I jokingly said once, "Well, if I were your age, I don't think I'd date someone as young as me," and he was like, "Well, good thing I would," and he laughed. I casually mentioned this in a conversation with one of my colleagues, and she said something like, "Oh, he's a flirt, that's what he does." She kept talking about how handsome he is handsome, but also a married dad of 2. I asked if there's anything we could do if, hypothetically, a parent is being too flirty with us, and she basically said no. Anyway, it's gotten hot outside, so I've started wearing sundresses, shorts, and crop tops, and he always compliments my outfits when he sees me and says he likes seeing my belly button piercing out you. Also, Emmy has told me that her dad said I'll be their nanny for the weekends when the daycare is closed. I don't know if he actually said that because she's 4, but I don't even want to ask because I don't want to give him ideas if he didn't actually say it. He has tried multiple times to give me his phone number to call him if there's anything, and I always gently reminded him that we can communicate through the daycare app. He always says that he would rather call me directly than through the app. He was being super pushy, and I felt a little trapped, so I gave him my phone number. He texts me all the time, asking what I'm doing, etc. I have FaceTimed his daughters a couple of times, but it just feels wrong. I briefly talked about this to a friend, and she said that she would have told his wife. I don't even think I have the guts to do that. Ever since my friend told me that, I started casually bringing up his wife in conversations. He would always change the subject or say she's not here. Anyway, all this is to ask, what should I do? Am I imagining things? I feel trapped. I can't lose my job. I'm scared that it'll take me forever to find another one. Also, all the kids love me, and I love them. I've really gotten attached to them. I love Emmy too, and I mostly feel bad for her. What would you do in this situation? I've asked, and you can't ban a family from attending a daycare, so that option is out of the window. Also, we can't be on our phones 24/7, so it's extremely hard to get evidence. Anything helps. Thank you. I don't know I'm posting this on the right subs, if not, sorry about that. Edit, I've never seen his wife. He's the one who does everything. Emmy has mentioned her a few times, saying things like, "Mommy got me this shirt," or something, but I don't even know what she looks like. He doesn't talk about her unless I bring her up. Edit 2. About the crop tops. We are allowed to wear them at work with long pants. Same thing with shorts. We can wear them with a non-cropped shirt. 90% of his comments about my piercing were outside of work, when I would run into him. Also, I blocked him. I don't know if he noticed, but he's blocked. Edit 3. A lot of people are asking me what I am scared of. I don't have an exact answer. I've had a lot of traumatizing experiences with men, so I don't feel comfortable around any man in general. I don't have any guy friends. It's like I think of all the things they could do to me if they wanted to. Then I get scared and comfortable. I know I have a fawn trauma response and I am working on it. I really am. Also, I have work on Friday or Wednesday maybe, and I will talk to my supervisors and update. Update. Hello everyone. I want to thank everyone who gave me advice. I tried to read every comment. Before I give you an update, I need to clarify a few things. I don't work at a school. It's a private, family-owned, daycare. I have 3 managers, 2 women and 1 man. They became the new owners in January. I primarily interact with one of the female managers. I've tried to discuss this situation with her, but it's never the right time. For example, I'd knock on her office door and say I needed to talk about Emmy's dad. She'd say she's busy and ask me to come back later. When I did, she'd apologize and ask to talk the next day. She also suggested texting, but I didn't feel comfortable telling her everything through text. Some suggested having another teacher watch my group when he arrives, but that's not possible. In the afternoon, after nap time, we take the kids outside until their parents pick them up. All educators need to stay outside to supervise. When parents arrive, I discuss their child's day and hand over their keychain. It's difficult because he always approaches me when I'm distracted, so I can't warn a coworker. Rides. The first time I saw him outside of work was at the grocery store. He recognized me, we chatted briefly, and he offered me a ride. I declined, but he insisted, saying it was ungentlemanly to let me carry groceries alone. He paid for my groceries and drove me home, despite my discomfort. I sat in the back seat, but still, I shouldn't have said yes. I was just so weirded out by the entire situation. The second time was at a gas station. After hanging out with a friend in his neighborhood, I stopped there for a drink. He saw me and again offered a ride. He was pushy, so I reluctantly agreed. That was the last time I accepted a ride from him. Clothing. Most of his comments about my piercing happened outside of work. I don't wear revealing clothes to work. I mostly wear sweats. Occasionally, I wear a long-sleeve crop top with sweatpants, which my managers don't mind. We're allowed to wear mom shorts. But again, most of the time I wear sweats. FaceTime. I've FaceTimed his daughters 3 times, and each call lasted less than 5 minutes. I realize now that this was inappropriate, but yes, it happened. Texting. I don't always respond to his texts. If he texts 10 times, I might reply 3 times. The thing is, he often asks in person why I don't respond, telling me he had something important to say. He'd sometimes say that in front of Emmy, then say, "You see that Emmy, she's not nice to Daddy. She doesn't want to talk to me." I live in Canada. Some suggested carrying pepper spray for protection, but it's illegal here, so that's not an option. I don't know his exact age, but I'd guess late 30s to mid-40s. I've never seen his wife. Some suggested they might be separated. Maybe. Emmy has mentioned her mom before, but she seems closer to her dad. The dating comment. I had zero idea my comment could be seen as flirting. I thought I was indirectly turning him down. When the topic of dating came up, I said I didn't want a relationship. He joked that we'd get along great, and I responded by saying, "Don't you think you're a little too old for me?" And he said, jokingly, "Oh, man, don't say that. You're very mature." That's when I said that I wouldn't date someone my age if I were his age. Update 2. I was only scheduled on Friday this week, but ended up working today too. I texted my manager saying that I have something very important to tell her about a parent and that I'm afraid my safety could be compromised. She asked me to come to her office before work to talk about it. I was very scared because reading the comments made me realize that I could lose my job because I gave him my number. But I still told her everything looking back. I missed a few things, but I told her the most important things. I told her about how, in the beginning when I was assigned to his 2-year-old daughter's group, he was very friendly and nice to me, but it escalated when I started caring for Emmy. I told her about the grocery incident, the gas station incident, and seeing him near my neighborhood. She kind of defended him by saying that I live near downtown, so it's not a miracle to run into someone there. I then brought up the fact that, yes, I understand that, but he's told me that he enjoys staying in his neighborhood and that I live so far away, and he doesn't understand how I'm able to work at a job so far away, so it was weird to see him so much. I think it made her understand more. I told her about the comments about my appearance. I asked her if it was possible to get assigned to another group, and she said yes. I told her about me giving him my number after feeling pressured, and she said that I shouldn't have done that it's very dangerous to give out personal information like that. She also said that, especially with my job, all communication must be through the app. She said that she was a little more upset at the dad because he's been attending that daycare for almost 4 years, and he knows that parents are not allowed to do that. I then told her about how he makes Emmy play with her friends when it's time to go just to talk to me longer. She said that since I won't be assigned to Emmy's group, I won't even have to talk to him at all. She said that she'll take care of it and let the other girls know to keep an eye on him. I told her about the FaceTimes and how he told Emmy that I was mean for not answering one time and how he made her cry. She only said that that was out of line. I asked if it was possible to ban him from attending, and she said maybe. She doesn't have any solid proof. I showed her some text messages, but she said that he was being friendly in the messages and that there was nothing sexual. She said that most of this was basically hearsay, and she doesn't have concrete proof of him being an actual predator. As for Emmy, we played together on the playground as usual. I think the hardest part for me is to slowly distance myself from her. I did, however, encourage her to play with her friends, but she would always come back every 5 minutes to ask to play with me. When her dad arrived, he greeted me and asked me about Emmy's day and her keychain. I said that I did not take care of her today and pointed to the girl that did. I then got up to get Emmy to tell her to leave. He tried to stop me, but I just kept walking. I didn't really give him time to talk to me. When I got Emmy, I gave her a hug, then stayed on the other side of the playground, and they left. I know it's not much, but at least I avoided an interaction with him today. I think that's it. I tried to answer everything. Edit. He's never driven me home. I would always ask to drop me off downtown. Update 3. Hi, I saw some comments asking for an update, so I wanted to share what happened because I am too ashamed to tell someone in real life. I had work from yesterday 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., then went straight to the gym to work out with a friend. I got there around 6 p.m. and worked out until about 8:30 p.m. I was walking home. I live about 10 minutes away from my gym when I heard someone behind me. Looking back, I know I shouldn't have walked home, but I didn't think about it in the moment. I had music in my ears, so I didn't know if someone was talking to me or on the phone, so I just kept walking. I felt the person getting closer and immediately thought, "Oh my God, what if it's him?" I started walking a little faster. After about 2 minutes, the person tapped me on the shoulder. When I turned around, it was him. My heart dropped. I immediately froze. I had practiced what to say if I ever got into this situation, but of course I had to forget everything. He acted like we ran into each other and said, "Hey, it's nice seeing you." I said, "Hi, nice seeing you, but I have to go." He complimented my hair. I recently dyed it and said it looked good on me. I said a quick thank you and tried to leave. He then grabbed my wrist and said, "I don't like when you act like that." I just froze up. I couldn't move. He asked why I don't take care of Emmy anymore. He said that she constantly asks about me at home and that I make her cry. I stuttered and said I didn't know, that I'm not the one who decides. I said I have to go now, sorry. He then asked if I blocked him. I said I really can't talk right now. He then blurted out that he saw me working out. He was doing all of this while grabbing my wrist, mind you. I didn't know what to say, so I repeated that I had to go. He started looking at me up and down in a disgusting way. He was staring at my boobs while smiling. He then started caressing my arms. One arm stopped at my waist, and the other one kept caressing my arm. He would sometimes move it to my chest and touch me there. I don't know why I didn't just punch him in the face. I just could not move. Before you ask, I wasn't wearing anything revealing. I had on a hoodie and sweatpants. I even removed my belly piercing because I don't like this type of attention. I eventually quietly said, "Can you please stop?" He looked at me, smiled, and then left. I've been getting sexually assaulted by men since the age of 7. I promised myself after getting sexually assaulted at 18 by a friend that I would never let it happen again. Now this. I don't know why this keeps happening. Most of the time, I feel like my body isn't even mine, just for someone else to use whenever they feel like it, no matter if I want it or not. Maybe it was my fault because I shouldn't have walked home, knowing I had a stalker. Maybe it's my fault because I didn't tell him to leave me alone earlier. Maybe it's my fault because I am 20 years old and I can't say no. I know he didn't full-on grab my breast and squeeze them, but I feel so violated. I am too ashamed to reveal this to anyone. I told my boss I was sick to avoid going to work for a couple of days. I went to the police station, but they said there wasn't anything they could do legally because he didn't commit actual crimes and that I didn't really have any proof. I just feel like they didn't take me seriously. They gave me tips to be more careful, like don't walk late at night, change your number, don't have the same routine, etc. But that's it. They won't give me a restraining order. I'll be honest, I didn't understand half of the terminology they were using. But from what I understood, we're both adults, so the texting and FaceTimes aren't incriminating enough. I guess I'll just stay home. I feel so dirty. I thought I had everything under control because I found a way to avoid him at work. But I guess I was wrong. I genuinely thought that I found a way to make everything stop. The worst part is I saw some comments saying that this whole situation could escalate if he finds out that I'm avoiding him, and I didn't believe them. Again, I was wrong. I don't know if I'm looking for advice or sympathy, but I don't have anyone in my life who could help. Maybe some friends, but I am just so ashamed and embarrassed to say that a man was groping me and I basically let it happen because I was scared. It's just humiliating. As for my family, knowing my mom, she would most likely shame me and say it's my fault. But yeah, here's the update, I guess. I don't know if I'll update after this, mainly because I don't know what else to do. Edit. Copying and pasting this from one of my replies because I can see how it looks. I posted about him 4 days ago, but I started having doubts about him stalking me like a month ago, I think. I talked to my manager Wednesday and I got assigned to another group. I didn't interact with him Wednesday and yesterday. He is the one saying that his daughter is crying about not seeing me. I know it's not true. He keeps saying stuff like this, saying things about his daughter to make me feel bad because he knows we're close. When this incident happened, I went straight to the police station near my home to tell them what happened. BC, it's open day and night. I asked if with what I have I can have a restraining order, and they said no. I know I'm updating quick, but I genuinely don't have anyone I can talk to about this. Edit 2. Okay, I think I'll just quit my job, stay with a friend for now. I'll send an email explaining my situation with my boss and try to find a stay-at-home job. Thank you all. Update 4. Hello? A few weeks ago, I made a post about a man stalking me at the daycare where I work. I don't know how to link it. If I knew, I would. I told my boss I was sick for 4 days in a row to avoid going to work. When I tried to call in sick again, she said she would have to fire me if I continued to skip work. I decided to quit because I was too scared to return and even more scared to reveal the real reason for quitting. When this happened, I moved in with my friend. I initially told her I had a fight with my mom and needed a place to stay. Later, I explained the real reason, and she helped me write an email to my boss explaining everything. I filed a police report, but nothing happened. My boss contacted me 2 days later to discuss the situation. We had a Zoom meeting with all 3 of my bosses, and we talked about everything. She apologized for not taking me seriously and promised to do better. I asked if the man could be banned, but they said it was harder than I thought and would be hard on the kids. The best they could do was wait until August-September when his oldest daughter would start school, and they would ask him to enroll his youngest in another daycare. My boss asked if I could eventually return to work, and I agreed on the condition that I wouldn't have to go outside or take care of his daughters. They agreed, and I returned to work the next day. I also found his wife's email address on the daycare app and told her everything. I was scared it could backfire, but I felt she needed to know. She thanked me, explained that they were separated and in the process of getting a divorce, and said this wasn't the first time he had targeted a caretaker. She said she doesn't speak to him unless she absolutely has to, and the reason he does the pick-up drop-offs is because she lives too far away. She advised me to avoid him and warned that he could be charming and friendly, but was dangerous. She said he had a thing for young girls and not to fall into his trap like she did. She gave me her number to call if I needed anything. My first few days back at work were fine. I would stay in the kitchen in the mornings to avoid him and would clock out before the parents arrived. However, I ran into him once when he picked up his youngest early. We were both surprised, and he tried to talk to me, but I quickly said hi and left. After that incident, I started receiving no caller ID calls again, which had stopped when I moved in with my friend. I went to the police to document everything and showed them the email from his ex-wife. They advised me to change my number, which I did, but they haven't contacted me since. He found my Instagram and sent me a request. My account is private, so I deleted the request, but he sent another one. My Instagram username is my first and last name, and I have an uncommon last name, so I'm worried about what he could find next. I changed my username, but he already saw it. My email address also is my first and last name. I'm considering quitting again and am wondering if I'm exaggerating because he hasn't done anything yet. However, he knows my job, full name, Instagram, old phone number, and possibly my address and email. Should I tell his wife or meet up with her? I feel that if I tell my boss, they will just tell me to wait until September, and the police aren't doing anything. I partly blame myself for going back to the job where my problem started, but I love it and it pays well. I think moving to another city would be the best scenario, but I can't afford it right now, hence why I went back to work in the first place. I always carry a rape alarm on me now, feeling that he could appear anytime, and it's so unfair. Please, I need advice. Thank you. Edit, I'm from Ontario, Canada. Next story. My girlfriend is getting close to another man who I know is interested in her. My girlfriend and I have been together for 5 years. We're both in our mid-20s, met in college, and have been living together for around 3 years. A little over 6 months ago, we had to find a new place to live rather quickly. Thankfully, we found a great place in the city, a little on the expensive side, but we make it work. A week into living here, my girlfriend met one of our neighbors, Jenna, who lives almost directly across the hall. Jenna lives there with her boyfriend, and they're roughly our age, maybe a couple of years older. By the end of December, my girlfriend and Jenna became pretty well acquainted. I don't know if I'd say friends because they never hung out outside of them inviting us to dinner and vice versa, but I do think my girlfriend and Jenna texted every now and then. Jenna is a nice enough, but her boyfriend Sam is a butthole. He's arrogant and entitled, and I do not like him. My girlfriend didn't like him either in the beginning, her words, but eventually seemed to warm up to him. Eventually, we learned that the two of them are in an open relationship. I've never really understood the whole open relationship thing, but it's really not my business, so ultimately I don't care. What does bother me is I've caught Sam straight up checking out my girlfriend. I've noticed Jenna noticing it too and being uncomfortable with it. I didn't think my girlfriend has noticed at first. About 2 months ago, when my girlfriend and I were coming home from dinner with a friend, we heard the two of them screaming at one another from inside their apartment. My girlfriend wanted to knock and see if things were okay. I wanted to leave it alone, so we knocked. Sam answered and says it wasn't the best time, and Jenna pushed past him and left with a suitcase. He called after her, but she told him to go F himself, and that was it. 2 weeks later, we didn't hear a thing from either of them. My girlfriend texted Jenna asking if she was okay and got no response. This next bit I only know because my girlfriend told me. She caught Sam as he was leaving, and she was coming home from work, and she asked him if things were okay. He confirmed they broke up and that Jenna has moved out completely. The next day, while I was at work, my girlfriend went to his place to see how he was doing, and he explained to her what happened. It's not really relevant, but because I know some people may be curious, apparently he cheated and Jenna broke up with him. I feel like there's more to the story, but I don't know if that's all Sam told my girlfriend, or if that's all she told me. Ever since, my girlfriend and Sam have been texting pretty much every day, if not every other day. I told her I'm a little uncomfortable with how close they've gotten. She said she feels bad because he doesn't really have anyone now. I told her it's his fault for being a cheater, and it bothered me. She has sympathy for him. She agreed to dial it back, but said she won't ignore him completely. Then I asked 2 really stupid questions. The first was if she was attracted to Sam. I expected her to say no honestly because she's always told me that I'm exactly her type, looks and personality, and him and I are completely different. She said that's not a fair question. When I asked why, she said she should be allowed to find other men attractive without it being an issue, and said surely I'm attracted to other women. I agreed, but I said it's different when it's a guy who's been eyeing her at every opportunity. I took her silence after that as a yes. I also took it to mean she actually did notice him checking her out. The second stupid question was if she has the opportunity to sleep with him, guilt-free, would she? She again said I'm being unfair because if she says yes, then I'll be pissed even though she'd have permission to do it. My response was, so that's a yes. We were quiet for a while after that until someone texted her. She looked at the message and then looked away, and I asked who it was. She didn't answer me and I got visibly upset. I started walking to our bedroom and grabbed a bag to pack some clothing. She followed me and said they're just friends. I asked if she would be willing to show me her phone. She hesitated but said yes, but the hesitation was enough for me. I grabbed my bag and my laptop and told her I just need to get away from here for a while and clear my head. She asked what that meant, and I said I have to think about some things, and left. So here I am, sitting in a hotel room, wondering what the F is happening in my relationship, and wondering if I screwed things up, if she did, or if we both did. Update. Well, first of all, I want to say that I didn't expect this to blow up as much as it did, and I want to thank everyone for the encouraging comments and for reaching out personally, even if I didn't respond. Lots of people said that I made a lot of mistakes, not checking her phone, not confronting him, leaving after our fight. Hindsight, I guess, but I just didn't want to be there anymore in that moment. I was able to reach out to Jenna. She confirmed her and Sam had an open relationship, but it was one-sided, which she said worked for the longest time, until it didn't. She said she told Sam after the first time we were invited for dinner my girlfriend was off limits. Then she confirmed she came home and caught them kissing. She also said it's not the first time he's broken the rules. She apologized for not telling me sooner, but said she just wants to put him behind her. She also asked me not to contact her again. I called my sister afterwards. She's the one who helped me find Jenna's socials, and we talked about me coming home for a while to clear my head. I said that entirely depends on what I find when I get home. I might have been able to forgive a kiss. When I got home last night, our apartment was empty. It surprised me how not surprised I was that she wasn't there. I put my things down, took a deep breath, and went to his apartment. When he answered, I pushed on the door to open it wider, and my attention went immediately to her. I asked her if we could talk alone. When she didn't move and looked towards him, I said F it and pushed past him into his apartment. He sarcastically told me to come in and close the door. I told them I know about the kiss. She looked surprised. He didn't. He said, "You talked to Jenna then?" And I said, "Yeah, she told me everything." He said he doubts that. I said I know he's cheated on Jenna before, and he admitted that he's broken the rules of their relationship before, but said Jenna isn't a saint either. He said their relationship was incredibly toxic on both sides, and I said she seemed like a good person to me. He said I don't know her. They were together for 7 years, and he knows her better than anyone. I said I didn't believe him. My girlfriend told me that Jenna sent her really nasty messages when she texted her asking if she was okay and tried to apologize. I shrugged and said, "So? She had every right to be angry." Sam immediately jumped to her defense and said, at me, Paige didn't know the rules of our relationship, so for all she knew that kiss was within them. It was quiet for about a minute, and then I asked my girlfriend how long it took after I left for her to come knocking on his door. She told me I left her in relationship limbo and didn't know if I was even coming back. Which didn't answer my question, but I dropped it because I was never going to get an honest answer. I didn't need to ask if they slept together because she was in her underwear and a t-shirt and he was only wearing sweatpants. I went to leave and told her I'm moving back home and I'll be emailing our landlord and telling him I want out of the lease and that she'll be taking it over completely. She said she can't afford that. I told her I don't care. Then I left. I called my sister and she's making arrangements to come get me, but she's 9 hours away and won't be able to make it until tomorrow or Tuesday. It gives me time to pack my crap at least. I'm not exactly loving that I'll be staying here for a day or two. Unfortunately, I can't turn off my feelings for her, and knowing she's across the hall getting effed by another man isn't awesome, but I can't afford the hotel again. I don't really know how I'm feeling right now. I went from anger to sadness to anger again, and now I just feel numb. So that's it. Again, wondering how we got here? Our relationship wasn't perfect and we had our issues, but I never thought we'd end up here. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, make sure like, comment, share, and subscribe the channel Jane's Stories.